All right, welcome everyone to this new episode of Drunken Jurors. I'm Jeff.
I'm Nick.
If you haven't noticed, there's no Adam because I don't know, hockey's a thing, I guess now. So
It's not a real sport.
we're like second to him now.
It's an athletic.
No.
Yeah, it's an athletic. He's not going to listen to this. What do I care?
That's the amount of correct you are, sir. You are not wrong. Yeah, so you get another episode of just Nick and I, and the last time this happened, we did Hinterkaifeck.
And it went horribly.
One of my favorite episodes.
It was fun. Went horribly, but
a lot of good info. It was a lot of Nick and I using different sources that contradicted each other.
Yeah.
So we just got hammered, and I told Nick he was wrong all the time.
It's true. Today, we're going to be getting something similar, except instead of Jeff telling me I'm wrong, it's going to be me trying to remember everything from audiobook I listened to in July. Yeah, so
we're starting the Black Hand Society, the extortion racketeering bullshit.
Yeah, the Italian one, not the Serbian one.
Yeah, the Serbian one sounds dark.
We could also do the Serbian one. The Serbian one would be kind of cool.
Down the road. But yeah, this is going to be a part one of that where Nick's going to, because I didn't do a fucking thing for this. We're going to be leading up to it coming to America and all of the bad shit that happens in America with it.
Now, this episode is going to be essentially a 40-minute history dump on Italian history and law enforcement in America and all that fun shit. So
I'm going to sit back and get drunk.
Probably. Yes.
Evan Williams. I'm drinking Evan Williams.
Nice. I'm drinking Kona from Minnesota. Still drinking those.
I had them last week and they were delicious.
Yeah. Well, not when they've traveled from Minnesota. Traveled from Minnesota.
Oh, you mean like the ones you bought in Minnesota?
Yeah.
I thought you were telling me Kona's from Minnesota, and I was just gonna believe you.
No, it's from Hawaii.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. I still got a couple of those like Fontanas or whatever. The black cans. I don't remember what the fuck I got. It was some like.
I have no idea. I was very hammered that entire weekend.
I was so hammered. I'm not proud of the fact I drank at least like probably 30 beers that weekend. Or not that weekend, that night.
Yeah,
I tried so hard to throw up, and it just would not come to me.
That was a bad night for everyone involved.
It was a really bad night. All right, we'll discuss that more at a later date. Whenever we discuss that.
It'll happen, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll end up discussing Adam's bachelor party. But
sources
is
unlike me who fucking says it.
I have two books. The primary one is Inspector Oldfield and the Black Hand Society, America's original gangsters and the U.S. Postal Detective who brought them to justice, by William Oldfield and Victoria Bruce. Very good book, very interesting. Highly recommend it if you have any interest in early American policing. And then the other book I listened to was this is more of an auxiliary for some of the historical stuff. It was The Pursuit of Italy, A History of a Land, Its Regions, and Their People by David Gilmour. Another excellent book if you want a complete history dump on Italy from like Rome to current to like 2014.
So it's outdated is what you're telling me.
Not at all, no. Italy's a very interesting place. I like the idea that it should actually be like 5 or 6 different countries instead of just one Italy. We'll be getting into that because like there is the idea of an Italian identity, like a nationalist Italian identity, is from like 1850. So it is very young, very new, and no one really accepts it still, even in Italy.
Perfect.
Yeah, no.
When your country doesn't even accept your status.
Pretty much. It's like it definitely should be like a confederation of states instead of like the Republic of Italy. Like it is more than like the U.S. states that have different cultural differences. Like it's still Anglican and different in origin, but like fucking parts of Italy are more French than Italian, or like more German than French. It's wild. But we'll be touching that a little bit. But so the excuse me, I have absolutely zero outline and I'm gonna be just fucking letting it rip.
As long as we get the info, we're good.
Yep.
Don't make it in any particular order. Timelines aren't necessary.
Yeah, who needs a timeline? So when you think of
when's Mussolini come into this? Not at all, because doesn't this all happen in the 19th century? The thing we're talking about.
This is like late. This is very early 1900s. This is like pre-World War I.
Yeah.
So this is
from Italian immigrants, mostly Sicilian immigrants.
No, I was about to touch base with you on that one. But no, this is like around the era of Garibaldi, in like the third. Well, so we're gonna give you a timeline of Italy, and then like when this shit starts popping up. But Jeff, first things first. Like when you think of Italian crime syndicates, what do you think of first?
The mob.
The mob, the mafia, the mafiosos, yeah. Al Capone, yeah. Fucking the New York big
prohibition
big
gangster type people.
Yeah. Exactly. So
smuggling across some alcohols for all of us.
Yep. So that is what we think of currently when we think of Italian crime organizations. There is a precursor to that, which is called the Black Hand or the Society of the Banana. Not kidding.
Does banana have a different meaning?
No.
Oh.
No, it's okay. Literally a banana.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Italy's not known for its bananas, right? Like they're not abundant in bananas.
no, bananas require a tropical climate.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed, but I thought I'd get that out.
Italy is extraordinarily temperate. It's Mediterranean, in fact. You might be able to grow like a banana on Sicily, maybe. I don't think so. But
I can see it.
Maybe.
Probably not.
But
the more I think about it, the less I believe in that.
Yeah. The Black Hand or the Society of the Banana. What now? Picture that in Minion's voice. Banana. Just the Society of the Banana, and then gets stabbed by a stiletto. Just having your throat cut out. But the Black Hand started off as an extortion group that primarily targeted not Italian immigrants from what is now the Republic of Italy. At that point was the Kingdom of Italy, kind of. But the Black Hand originates in the Kingdom of Naples, which is central Italy. So it is Naples is south central Italy on the east coast of the boot.
Near the heel. No.
The ankle?
Yeah.
It's like the ankle.
Why can I not picture where the fuck Italy is?
What Italy looks like, yeah. It is a beautiful city that I know absolutely nothing about. Other than they have apparently really good pizza. I know nothing about Naples other than the fact that like they were mostly independent from the people who tried to conquer Italy during the 17 and 1600s, which happened a lot. We had the French, we had the Austrians, the Prussians gave it a go. The Russians went for it.
I would like to point out there's probably no fucking way to grow a fucking banana in Italy at all. If you go straight west, it is at about like Pennsylvania / Virginia on the U.S. map.
Yeah. So Doubtful. So that is where the Black Hand originated, and it originated in about the 1750s. The basically the entire goal of it was extortion. I'm not really familiar what like the origination of the Black Hand was in the 1750s. Most likely extortion, racketeering, probably a lot of smuggling during the 1750s. It would have been 1750s Naples would have been under the control of who? This is an important thing that I should. 1750s Naples would have been under the control of the Spanish Bourbons. So look at a map and do that math. But that was Naples, and that was probably a lot of smuggling, a lot of underground black market dealings. And then as America got established and more Italian immigrants came over to the US, and that was in the late 1800s, was when Italian immigrants really started coming over. The Black Hand set foot and established bases in all of the major cities in the US. They established a headquarters in 1907 in Hillsville, Pennsylvania, a few miles west of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and I don't know where that is either.
All I know is it's like a small ass fucking
town in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's like a really small village.
Yeah. And there they established a school to train members in the use of the stiletto. So stabby stab.
God, I wish.
And the main goal of the Black Hand at this point was extortion, extorting immigrants. And they set up this, like, obviously the problem then is laundering money. And the way they laundered money, the way that they had affronted communities was, guess why do you think that their front business was related to the Society of the Banana?
Why it was related to like them killing people?
Like, no, their front business. What do you think their front business was if their name was the Society of the Banana?
Oh, it probably had something. Probably had something to do with like, I would assume farming of some sort. I would say like tobacco.
Fruit imports.
Yeah. Farm.
So,
yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So,
hey, by the way, did you know we have 9 minutes left? I forgot it starts the meeting when you come in, not when I start fucking recording.
Oh, I did not. I was very confused. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, not Pog.
Not Poggers. So, black, and so you got the Society of the Banana. Their front business is fruit imports, and that is how you end up with strong later in the 20th century mafia outposts in Cuba and in South America, because they established as the Black Hand and the Society of the Banana in those areas in order to get these front businesses going in those tropical areas. And then they're importing fruit. They're also importing alcohol. They're importing drugs. They're importing weapons. They're smuggling in immigrants, even though I don't know why you would do that, but like human trafficking. But their main business is extortion, and they primarily extort Italian immigrants who come to the US and they set up businesses. Whether it's you know, a barber shop, a bar, a restaurant, a cobbler, they begin extorting these families. And 9 times out of 10, these families pay because it's easier than going to the cops. It's easier than saying no and then getting very mean letters and fingers of loved ones back in the mail. But that leads us to the United States Postal Service, because, well, there's really only one way to send extortion letters from Boston to bumfuck nowhere, Massachusetts, and that is the post office. Fun fact, if
the
you
Pony Express?
No, that was 1800s.
Fuck.
And that was in the West.
Damn it.
But fun fact, fun fact, did you know that you can mail a child up until like 1875 in the post office? Because it was cheaper by weight to ship a child through the mail than it was to pay for a train.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, you're gonna go see your relatives, but you're going through the fucking. What's that entail? Like, how does that work?
It's just slapping a stamp or a package slip on a child, giving it to the mail carrier, and then like there are pictures of like toddlers in like mail carrier satchels. It's like, well, we're going across the state.
No.
Dad can't leave work in the mine. Mom's dead from giving birth to the 14th child. But so they just fucking ship kids across the post.
Why is there not a movie based off that? You know how good of a movie you can make off of a kid going through the postal service in the fucking 1700s?
They had to make it illegal because there was, because there's obviously there's a maximum weight at which you can ship something like a package. Like there's a maximum weight. Fucking a 5-year-old's only gonna weigh like 80 pounds.
80? A 5-year-old that you think weighs 80?
I don't know how much. I don't know how much 5-year-old
weighs. What the fuck, Nick? I don't know
what a 5-year-old weighs. What is a 5-year-old?
30 to 45.
Like 30 to 40 pounds. Well, in that case, fuck, you could probably ship a teenager.
What is the average? Well, also, this is like the 1800s, Mike.
They're malnourished as fuck.
The average weight of a 5-year-old. Don't ask. Well, yeah, about 43 pounds. Yeah, 39 to 48 inches, children, 34 to 50 pounds.
1900. Let's see if I can find it. Here's the.
It's got to be like 25.
Here's the picture. Copy image, and then I'm gonna send it to you over Discord. Here's the picture that commonly goes along with it.
No. No.
Yes. Yes.
Why does he have the same fucking hat? The mail.
You just fucking. In the early 1900s, it was legal to mail your child with stamps attached to their clothing. They would ride trains to their destinations accompanied by letter carriers.
Dude, look how pissed he looks to be. Like, I have to carry this fucking kid across this 4-year-old. Oh my god, no.
Yeah, so
minutes, by the way.
that was legal. That was side tangent. That was legal. Imagine that on the Pony Express. Just a kid. He's 2 kids in saddlebags.
Oh, dude. Like, Grandma and Grandpa gotta go to the post office. We gotta pick up our grandson. He arrived yesterday at 4 p.m.
Yeah. So, with that side tangent, any crime committed using the United States Post Office is a federal offense. If I send a letter to Jeff saying, "Hey, I'm going to break your kneecaps with a golf club if you don't pay me $15," and I put that in the mail and I put a stamp on it, and it goes through the mail and arrives in Jeff's mailbox, I have committed a federal felony of threatening assault and extortion. And technically, like, that means you now have the post. Like today, you now have the FBI and the post office on your ass. Like that's how the FBI gets like into like mob crimes in like Chicago. They sent at some point they sent a letter, and in that letter was like ransom, and then all of a sudden that's now a federal crime because you have mailed that through the United States Postal Service. So with that, you with these letters for extortion, that attracts the attention of the United States Postal Service. At this time, in the early 1900s, that's really all there is when it comes to federal. So FBI, let's see, when was the FBI established? The FBI was founded in 1908. And it was founded under the Interstate Commerce Clause, which is again basically kidnapping, state crime. If I kidnap and I cross state borders, it is now a federal crime because I have crossed state borders. That is Interstate Commerce Clause, and that gives the FBI their authority to do investigations. Before then, there were really only 3 major federal agencies that had any type of legal power. There was the United States Marshal Service, which is in the Constitution. They are basically the sheriffs of the country. Like think sheriff's department, but go federal. Then you have the Treasury Department, which if you've ever watched The Unkillables, that's Elliot Ness. That's who was doing liquor investigations during Prohibition, because technically that was a treasury crime because it involved money. Then you have the Postal Service, and then obviously anything that goes through the mail, postal inspectors and all that. So one small correction. I kept saying the United States Postal Service. The United States Postal Service was created in 1971. And that was when it was privatized, like half privatized by Nixon. The original department was the United States Post Office Department.
I think we discussed them in Albert Fish.
I'm not sure, though. That was a department cabinet. It is no longer a department cabinet. It got I'm not entirely certain why it got privatized, but so yeah. But that is all of the 3 main branches of government, or 3 main investigative bodies at that point in time. We're going to be dealing with the United States Department of the Post Office Department, United States Post Office Department, or
we'll
USPOD.
Get that.
It's USPOD. It's the acronym.
I don't like that.
It. I don't like it either. Yeah. U.S. Mail, or the post office, or the post office.
You corrected yourself. Good enough.
Yeah. Anyway, the post office was founded in why did it leave me? Nope, there we go. Wait, what?
God damn it, I have to fucking edit now.
No, it was founded in 1792, and the first headmaster or postmaster general was Benjamin Franklin. But there's that. Now we're gonna meander our happy asses all the way back to Italy. So at this point in time, in the early 1900s, Italy was going through a bit of a puberty age. It was a time. Basically, from the fall of Rome, Italy was just a bunch of different states, feudal states, kingdoms. There were like I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't even think anything will tell me the exact number of different kingdoms, but like it was a lot. It was like 15 or 20 different kingdoms in Italy.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it was.
Did they also allow you to mail your kids through?
No, I don't think they had post offices. It was like they were like couriers.
Could you send it through a courier?
Probably.
I feel like couriers are more open to stuff than.
But during the time from like the 1800s to the 1900s, you have
That's all the 19th century, motherfuckers.
It's a lot. You have Napoleon invading and trying to conquer Italy, which he does. I think the only one he lets be he leaves alone is like Vienna, and that's because they gave him a fuck ton of money.
Is that because of their sausages that come in a little can?
Not Vienna. Vienna's fucking Austria.
Venezuela.
Venice.
Not Venezuela.
No.
Not the South African country.
That's South America.
Yes. Sorry. I said African. Yes, I am. All right. We fucked up a lot in the last 30 seconds.
We fucked up a lot.
That was a lot of things to get wrong.
but Italy consisted of a fuck ton of countries, different nations or nation states, city states, whatever. You had Rome, you had Rome, and then you had the Vatican, and then you had like Sicily, which was I think under Moorish control.
The Vatican's in Italy. I always forget that. I don't.
The Vatican's its own country.
I know, but like,
yeah,
you know, in that general, populace,
it's just in the middle of Rome.
Yeah.
But you have that. You have Piedmont. You have fucking Florence. You have Tuscany. You have Venice. You have.
You've said Venice twice now.
There are so many fucking kingdoms. It's annoying. Some of them remain independent. Some of them become French. Some of them become Austrian. Some of them become Roman. And like all of them speak a different version. Now I don't think that Ottomans stayed mostly in the Baltics. Okay. There's a strong contention that like Italy can be considered part of the Baltics because like the northern part of it is a little Baltic-y.
Yeah.
But Sicily and like southern Italy was under, I don't think it was Ottoman, but it was like some form of Moorish control for centuries. There's Corsica, which is the birthplace of Napoleon. So Napoleon's really just a fucking Italian dude. Yeah, so that's fun. Our favorite French boy is really technically Italian.
For those of you that don't know what the Baltic states are, because or the Baltic countries, states,
it's
whatever.
Like Greece, fucking Bosnia, Herzegovina, Serbia. I don't know, Romania's not it. It's that little clusterfuck of countries that basically kicked off World War One. Slovakia. It's like
right now it's Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. Those are like the three that are still Baltic states technically as of today.
And then there's the tiny fucking ones like Montenegro, and Bosnia Herzegovina, those little fuckers. It's a nightmare place. They're lovely people, I've heard. But it's a fucking powder keg for global relations.
It is a pain in most people's asses.
Yes. That was a fun little place that tried to be conquered by the Turks, the Russians, and the Austrians all at the same time.
So why not?
Yeah, why not? During the Great Game, which is what's considered like the European attempt to colonize everything. You had Western Europe essentially colonizing South America and Africa and like East Asia. At that time, Russia and Austria were just trying to colonize the Balkans. So there's that. I believe Vienna acted as the main shipbuilders for the French Navy during Napoleon, I believe. I think it was Vienna. Not Vienna. Fuck. Venice. But that's the thing. As I've discussed on the podcast before, I thought I was Austrian for my entire life. Turns out I'm Italian, and that's only because the part of Italy I'm technically from was Austria for like 200 years. So that's fun. But there's that. In 1848, there's a bunch of revolutions. In 1871, there's the capture of Rome, by Giuseppe Garibaldi. That fun dude. I think it was Garibaldi. I'm not even gonna look it up. I'm gonna fucking commit to it. I think it was Garibaldi. Fun dude. We might look into him at some point. But he kind of nationalizes and tries to unite Italy under one banner, and no one's really happy about it except for like Rome, and even Rome's not super happy about it, because then you have Florence and Naples and Piedmont, all of these very strongly independent kingdoms with their own nobility, their own kings, all of a sudden like, oh, we're no longer any of that. But it was better than getting bent over a barrel by Napoleon. And then later the Austrians.
And then all of Europe.
Yeah, and like before this, it's part of the Holy Roman Empire, which is Germany essentially. Like large swaths of Italy are under the Holy Roman Empire.
Is it bad this makes me want to play Civ?
No, it doesn't, because this is usually what I do. As I listen to a book like this, and then I play Civ for 3 days.
Civ 6, good game.
Yeah, great game. And that is where we end up with a rough amalgamation of the Kingdom of Italy. There's a king. He's there. He's there. There's usually a general that's holding everything together. And he's doing a piss poor job of it. But the reason I bring up all of these states, cities, and little independent countries is that there is no national Italian identity easily until like 1920s. I'd say 1920s, 1930s. And that's like kind of forced upon people with fascism and Mussolini, and the fact that they just fucking kicked the shit out of Austria-Hungarian Empire.
I was gonna say World War I, Italy wasn't.
World War I in Italy was very important. No, because it was the Kingdom of Italy at that point. And they were struggling to hold the Kingdom of Italy together because all of these independent cities and countries wanted to be independent. And then Austrians come in, kick in the front door, and all of a sudden, well, fuck that German dude. And they defeat Austria-Hungary, like really run a fucking train on them. It's kind of sad. But it's the death throes of a dying empire. And then you have this new sense of national identity. But before that, there's none of that. And then while there is no sense of national identity, there is a oppressive top-down centralized government that's trying to tax, that's trying to install governors that they like. They're trying to be a government. It's basically like if Colorado was its own country, or think about the U.S. Revolution. You have the 13 colonies, and then they become the U.S. It's essentially that, except the central government in Philadelphia is now installing their hand-picked governors in like South Carolina. It's that kind of thing. And like yeah, we kind of speak the same English, but like you can only understand a handful of words because like it's a completely different dialect. It's like trying to understand old English from today's English.
Yeah. Or just London's English compared to
like
ours.
it's like trying to understand Welsh as an American. A Welsh accent from it's an American.
As someone who is Welsh, yes.
Yeah. It's a lot like how like you have Mexico Spanish and then you have Spain Spanish, and like you can communicate, not well. But there's that. There's this top-down government that's trying to instill control in Italy that no one likes, no one trusts, no one really. There's drafts, there's conscriptions, no one likes them. Then all of these immigrants come to the U.S. These immigrants make a home. They're now being extorted by other Italians. And the options are pay, die, or go to your centralized top-down government that is by no means as oppressive as the Italian government, but that's all they know. That's all they think of. They think of, we go to the feds, but from where I'm from, the feds, they wouldn't do anything. They'd just ask for their own cut because why not?
Yeah.
Who's going to stop me? That's their idea. And then that leads us to Belafonte, Ohio, which is where we're going to leave off today. But Belafonte, Ohio, on April 18th, 1908. And
this is where shit starts to go down.
This is where shit starts to go down. This
Hell
is
yeah.
where this is 50 miles north of Columbus. You know,
everyone, this is where I finally come back in.
Yeah.
Next episode, this is where I come back in.
To leave a little taste of banana in your mouth. Little cream filled banana. Basically in Belafonte, Ohio, 18-year-old Charles DeMar walks into a fruit shop owned by his uncle, Salvatore Sierra, and puts a bullet in his uncle's head.
Oh, yeah, we'll fuck off with that then.
Yep.
Outside of that, I have nothing else. You have nothing else because you spoke the entire time. Yeah. So it's not like you have a view on anything, and I'm not going to tell people mine because I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So outside of that, thanks everyone for listening. We appreciate it. If you go down into the description of this episode, you will find our link tree. The top link of that is going to be to our Patreon. If you go to that, the $1 tier, you get access to Discord and to the movie review podcast that we release monthly. That is Adam and I, where he makes me watch movies because I don't watch a lot of them. And I haven't seen a lot of the big ones that everyone says you should see. So it's me watching those. Anything that he thinks is really good is pivotal to cinema in general, or just really fucking bad. So yeah, you listen to that. You listen to me and Adam break down movies. You get to hear my viewpoints. A lot of people. A little tidbit of information into that. We have done up through October's recordings for that. The Matrix is in dead last, and I don't see it coming out of that. So it is the worst movie I've seen this year for that podcast.
You watched this is the
original,
movie.
yeah.
Oh,
for the first time ever. Not a good movie.
I watched it when I was like 8.
Was it good?
I liked it. I was 8.
Yeah, well, yeah. Would you like it now?
Oh.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. So, outside of that, $3 tier, you get the unedited video versions of this podcast, so you get that. But also,
if you want more kind of history stuff like this, let us know.
We can do more JDOs and stuff.
I'm thinking about adding some of that stuff in. I think we have like 4 of them planned for the next year because that's how our schedule worked out.
Yeah, DJ might be getting cut back a little bit next year, but we haven't fully discussed that yet. We'll see how it goes. A lot of stuff changing up next year. Should be really exciting. Aside of that, follow us on socials. That's also in the link tree, link down there in the description. Aside of that, we don't have Adam to say anything. I got nothing else. Nick's got nothing else. Nick, do the RAR.
Woof.